They told a person from Philadelphia to trust the process. Normally, I would have just walked away after hearing that. Go Sixers. You probably have no idea what I'm talking about in regards to trust the process, but go look it up on Google or something. If you're a Philly sports fan, hang in there. This is a full review of the Knosti Disco Anti-Stat Ultrasonic Cleaner 2.0. Knosti is a German company that makes record cleaning solutions for vinyl enthusiasts, and they're trying to bring their products more to the US. So because folks like you are awesome and you subscribe to this channel and you tell your friends about it, Knosti wanted to get in on the party and have me review this ultrasonic cleaner for you. Now, according to Knosti, their founder Herman Knoblick was not satisfied in the 1970s with the cleaning methods of the time, and apparently people would wet clean their records while playing them, which would apparently result in them not being able to be used anymore after that, which I can't even believe people would wet clean their records while playing them. That's insane. So Herman in 1976 created the first prototype called the Disco Anti-Stat, and they provided me with some awesome old photos of it. And I love this kind of stuff when companies have been around this long, which also means that they're probably doing something right since they still are around today. And they also sent along the Disco Anti-Stat Generation 2 Plus, and now they have this for me to review, the Disco Anti-Stat Ultrasonic 2.0, which we are discussing today. Some things to note here, or disclaimers as we go forth. Knosti reached out to me to review this unit, and they sent me this unit along with the Generation 2 Plus to do this review. They're not sponsoring this video, no money has changed hands, and I do get to keep this unit for making this review. They don't get to see this video or make any notes on it. I'm giving you my honest review on this as I would if I bought this, and I've been using this with a ton of records for about a month now, and so this is my result with it. Also, like I've already said, and you're gonna see numerous times in this video, I'm gonna say and do some things here that are quite different from previous record cleaning videos. It's important to note that this machine functions a little bit differently, and I wanted to try and trust the process as much as possible and give an honest result on this as much as I could. So just know those previous videos are still accurate, but with new equipment comes new information. So let's go through the entire unboxing of this and see exactly what you get out of the box, because you don't just get this machine. There's actually some other cool things that you get in the box as well. And the first thing that comes out of the box is 1 liter of distilled water for your cleaning solution. And it's actually nice that they include this for you. They also include the power cord. This is the Euro outlet power cord. I actually needed to get my own American plug. In the future, this is something that I would say that Knosti should consider including, the types of interchangeable AC plugs that you can get with like hard drives and stuff like that, so that international customers can plug this in. There are multi-language user manuals, a microfiber cloth, this foam brush, which is actually extremely useful, and you're gonna see this in use later. Here is the cleaning solution concentrate that we use to mix with the distilled water that was provided. They provide a mixing bottle for the solution as well, a drying rack that can hold up to 15 pieces of vinyl at a time. This is actually something that I want to mention right away. During my review on this, I've actually been using this rack wrong the entire time, and I've only been using 7. You can actually fit 15 records in here if you put them in straight. So just know later on in the video when I'm using it this way, I only use 7 in here, but you can actually put 15 records on at a time. Next, we have the clamp that protects the labels and rotates the vinyl in the machine. More on this later. And finally, the main unit, which is made from premium plastic with a high quality coating and metal with ABS plastic. This machine has goat hair brushes inside of it, and these ones actually came out a little bit in shipping, but they slide right back into the machine, as you're gonna see here. And on the back of the machine, you can remove this plate and access the filter system, which is actually the unique part of this entire machine. Now, why would you even want to consider an ultrasonic cleaner? Ultrasonic cleaners are extremely good for cleaning records because they create microcavitation bubbles that are small enough to get into the grooves of the record. Now, just so you're aware, a groove of a record is actually thinner than half the size of a human hair. So even just regular water droplets sometimes can't get down into the grooves of a record. So that's why you need some type of surfactant in your distilled water that can break the water down and get into the grooves. And along with that, the ultrasonic cavitation bubbles literally are like tiny little explosions that remove the dirt. Most ultrasonic cleaners do most of the work for you. As you're going to see in this setup, it's very convenient here in an almost one button setup, making it more convenient than manual cleaning or vacuum cleaning, which is what I usually do. The Disco Anti-Stat Ultrasonic 2.0 is a little bit different in its approach for cleaning, along with its provided mixture solution. The machine creates the cavitation bubbles at 46 kilohertz and also uses these fine goat hair brushes after the dirt is blasted out of the grooves that can further remove any other particles. All the while, there's a filtration system happening with the solution, and it's constantly cycling so that the water is getting cleaned as the records are getting cleaned, and the result means that you don't have to rinse the records, and the cleaning time is much faster. So there's a lot to unpack with that. Let's go through the entire process of using the device and see about trusting the process. This is the first bit of controversy that might come up in this video. Knosti provides a cleaning solution and 1 liter of distilled water to mix with, and the ingredients of the solution are, according to Knosti, not available for the public as it is a 45-year-old formula. However, they say that it does not contain alcohol and helps prevent static buildup on the record after the fact and has been tested over years and does not leave any residue or anything like this. I can say this. It bubbles up, so there is some type of cleaning agent in there, but it does not leave any type of residue that I've seen, and I've been testing cleaning records on this for about a month now, and I can say it smells pretty good, so that's nice. Now again, back to more disclaimers here. Normally, I would only just use distilled water and TurgiClean for a solution. And I found after cleaning tons of vinyl, it's extremely effective and works well. However, for this review, again, I'm trusting the process and I'm doing everything exactly as they say to do it for the most part. I also reached out to them numerous times since I was very hesitant on a lot of the things here, specifically the lack of a rinse process and the solution itself. And they also said that the machine can be used with just distilled water as the cavitation bubbles still do their thing, as well as the goat hair brushes are still taking out things as well. But for the added anti-static benefits, they recommend using their solution. So I tried it a lot on a lot of records. The directions say to mix 40 milliliters of solution to 1 liter of distilled water, or fill up the concentrate to the bottom of the label and then fill the distilled water to the top of the label and shake. And now you have a mixture of cleaning solution. After mixing the solution, you fill up the tub directly from the top and you fill it to the fill line and then clamp in your record using the record clamp. They don't say to dust it off or any kind of prep like that, but I will tell you, dirt plus water equals mud. So be sure to at least blow off your record with an air blower or something like one of these manual air blowers just to get some of the top dirt off of the vinyl. This is a little bit of a variation to their process, but it just makes sense. If you see visible particles, try and get them off. Do not blow on it with your mouth because you will get particles of your spit onto the record, and don't use any of those compressed air things because they can also have particles in them as well that can also get residue on the records. After you clamp it over the label, hook the record into the clamp gear, and the record is now half submerged in the solution at this point. You set your timer by just moving the up and down arrows. It goes by 10-second intervals. Now for most 12-inch records, I was using 4 minutes, and for 7-inch 45 RPM records, I was using 2 minutes. The machine only goes to a maximum of 5 minutes, so if the records are not too dirty, the 2 minutes and 4 minute cycle should be fine. If the records are very, very dirty, you might have to go to the 5 minutes. You might even have to do a second cycle of 5 minutes if they're super dirty, but after that, you should be fine. After you set your timer, an indicator bar shows up below the timer, letting you know it's about to kick in. And then this happened to me on my very first go around of using the machine. Oh, hello. What the hell? Stop. Now, this was clearly a problem. It almost hit my overhead camera and microphone. Holy crap. I then immediately had to contact Knosti about this, and they informed me that something must have gotten dislodged during the shipment of this, and there was indeed a red plug or stopper that I had to re-glue back into the device. After doing this, I think there might have been another slight crack as well around that area because it was still kind of leaking after the first glue, so I had to really put some more glue on it to seal it. But after I did that, we were actually ready to go to start cleaning. Now, please note, this is obviously not ideal, especially for a video review, but it happens when things get shipped. And if I were a paying customer, I'm sure that they would have sent a replacement or taken care of me in some way. I worked with them just to fix this, just so I could continue the review, and because they sent it to me. I don't hold this against them in any way. It could have happened to any shipment, especially coming from overseas or for anything like that. So shipments get knocked around all the time. After the cleaning starts, you will see a progress bar that goes across here. It's a very big visual indicator as each of the step points go along. And so it's very nice to have a very good visual indicator showing you how far along the timer's going. You will see some suds on the vinyl as the record is going around and it's getting cleaned from both the cavitation bubbles and the goat hair brushes. All the while, the water and cleaning solution is filtering out the dirt through the glass filter that's on the back of the machine. And overall, this unit is extremely quiet. And this is a huge upgrade over my vacuum cleaner, which is extremely loud. After the cleaning cycle is finished and you remove the record, you let it air dry on the provided drying rack. And after the record has completely dried, I would say let it sit for a good while. I was a little worried about dust falling on the records while they're sitting there, but it seems to be okay. Obviously, check the record. According to Knosti, they said that they only find a buildup of any residue when the records are played after not being fully dried, or they're not being fully dried and they're put into the record sleeves. And I can say that I have not noticed any residue at all on my records or build up on my stylus, which I've been looking at with like a magnifying glass a lot because I've been very worried that there's buildup coming on these since we're not doing a rinse process. So again, more on that later. For cleaning a 7-inch record, there's actually a little adapter that's built into this clamp that I actually missed at first, the first time I ever used it, and because I'm an idiot, it says right there 4 singles. But if you flip it around, you can now place a large hole 7-inch record on it and it'll clean those just the same that it does a 12-inch record. So it's really cool that they give you the adapter for 7-inch records. I find that you actually need to put a little bit more solution in to get up to the height of a 7-inch record, and I put it right up to its max line and I fill it below the max line a little bit for a 12-inch record. I have found this to be a fantastic way to clean 7-inch 45 records because they don't take as long in the bath and the solution, and they dry much faster, so you can do a lot of these in a short period of time. After you finish cleaning, the last part of the process is to empty the tank, and they specifically say do not pour the water out from the top. Like, don't tip this over and pour it out. Always pump the water and the solution out using the pump feature, which this has a pump feature on it. You need to be in the stop mode for it to activate, and there's a small hose that comes out of the back of the unit that you then, according to Knosti, pump the solution that you just cleaned your records with back into an empty bottle for possible use again. Now, this was a huge pause moment, at least for me. I needed to double check this and reach out to them because this seems crazy to me that they would have you pump the solution that you just used back into another bottle and then possibly use it again another time. However, the whole point of their filtration system and the pump, they claim, removes any of the dirt particles and things like that. Now, I can say if you clean like 4 or 5 brand new records that are not that dirty, you might get away with being able to do that. However, in my tests, I have found that at best you get maybe 2 rounds of the solution. But to be totally safe, I would just use new solution each time. If the records were really, really dirty, again, you need to check that water right away and then consider using new solution. They say if the solution is yellow or dark, that's when you should consider changing it out, and that's their official way. But again, that's just what I would do. I would get new solution each time. You will need to clean the filter that's on it, and they make this pretty easy to do. You remove the 2 hoses that connect it, and then you unscrew the filter, which is metal and glass, so it's very nicely made. Once you get into the filter itself, it does collect a good amount of dirt in here, and you can see the dirt buildup, but it does clean up pretty easy after just rinsing it off with just some water. And after you pump out the liquid, you use the included dry brush, and it fits perfectly into this tub to get any of the remaining liquid that might be left in the very bottom. And again, do not dump this over to get any of that liquid out. At this point, just use any of this and this thing will pretty much get whatever's left in there. And I have found it to pretty much dry off pretty quickly. Now, we never rinsed the records in this process, and they never tell you to do that. And other units provide removable water tubs and things like that. But again, Knosti claims that the solution provided and the filtration system that they're using have proven that you don't need to rinse the records once they're finished. And it's designed to be streamlined to get you cleaning faster and enjoying your pieces of vinyl more. Now, I distinctly remember learning from Perfect Vinyl Forever that the most important thing to do is to rinse the records, and you could do this. You could pump out the solution, which takes no time at all, and then fill it again with distilled water and do a rinse cycle. However, I decided to just trust the process and just see what air drying from this solution does, and if it leads any things like that, and what happens if, God forbid, I don't rinse my records off. And I will say this, after drying the records out, I was very satisfied with the results, especially visually. When holding the records up to light, especially sunlight, this is the cleanest that both sides of a record have ever come out for me, especially versus my vacuum cleaning process, and especially more with 45s, since they can be actually more cumbersome than full-size LPs sometimes for cleaning. And the sound is noticeably better. The bass is much deeper, and probably the biggest frequencies that you'll ever notice when cleaning are bass frequencies and the overall separation that comes from just hearing the record sounding clean. On some of my 45s, I was hearing them cleaner than I've ever heard them before, because some of these go way back to the beginnings of my collection and I've never cleaned them before. And so one of the first major things that I cleaned was the Impulse box set that I just got from VMP. And this is pressed at RTI, which they did a fantastic job of pressing it. But after the review that I did for that, I realized that all 8 LPs did not have one pop on all of them, and I cleaned that whole thing just trusting the process with the Disco Anti-Stat Ultrasonic 2.0 cleaner, and the results impressed me a lot. To show you an example, I found a perfect record to show for this. This is the Soulfire Educational Drum Series from Soulfire Records, which is a great label that I plan to talk about since I have everything that they've ever pressed. And this is a perfect 45 to show because this is just drum beats and you can't copyright drum beats, so you can actually hear this. But I also had never cleaned it in all these years, so you can see how dirty it was before I cleaned it, and you can also hear how dirty it was before I cleaned it.
Beat 2. Beat 3. Beat 4. Beat 5.
Here is an example of what it sounds like after the cleaning.
Beat 2. Beat 3. Beat 4. Beat 5.
Now let's talk about some cons, because there are some cons with this machine. I mean, nothing's perfect. Starting with the solution, I really wish we could know what is in the solution, and it still does kind of freak me out a little bit that I'm putting stuff on my records that I don't exactly know what it is. Like, I don't need to know what the amounts are of each ingredient. I just wish I knew what the ingredients were. And also, if you like the solution, it just ends up meaning that you're just going to have to keep ordering more of it from them, which I actually found it to be very good. So eventually I will have to order more of it from them. For this video, I did not test it using any other solutions, so maybe in the future I will do something like that. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see me make a follow-up video about this in the future. Another con that I would say about this is you do need to kind of clean more than one record at a time, otherwise you're kind of like wasting the solution. So I found that it's better to do 3 or 4 records at a time, which is really cool, but that could also be an issue if you just only got one new record and you want to do a quick clean. Then again, that is where the filter system comes in and reusing the fluid can come in. So there are some trade-offs there. If you just got a brand new record, it's probably not that dirty. If you reuse the solution for it, it's probably okay. The only other con I would say is this little clamp thing can be very tricky. You really need to be careful with it. Like I mentioned before, if there are warped records, the warped records can really get stuck with it. I did get a record stuck with this and I had to kind of jam something in and I ended up scratching the label a little bit. I didn't end up scratching the record miraculously, but I was able to wedge a little piece of paper into the middle there to just stop the suction so I could get it off again. So you just got to be careful with this thing. Don't screw it on too tight, because you could lock it onto the record and have an issue getting it off. My only other con for this would be the price. I think it's a little high. However, in the world of ultrasonic cleaners, it's actually not that high. It's going for about $1,300 US. And currently Knosti is only shipping from Germany. They do plan on distributing to the US soon, but for now, you would have to order it from Germany if you wanted to get it from them. I was able to get a small discount for viewers on the channel. So if you want to get 5% off, you can email them directly at info@knosti.com and use this code #Rocco5%, and you can save 5% on the order. It's not much, but I tried helping out the viewers as much as I could with getting a little bit of a discount for this thing. Like I said, they are getting distribution coming soon in the United States, and that's one of the reasons why they even reached out to me to make this video. So hopefully we'll see that soon, and you won't have to pay so much for shipping from that, or even use the 5% off code. My final conclusion is, I will admit at first I was extremely skeptical of this machine, and of the solution, and the filtration system, making it so you don't need to rinse the records, and also the drying process. I was certain that I would run into some issues by going and trusting the process. And I gotta say, I'm very impressed with this thing, and I think it's going to actually be one of the main ways that I clean records moving forward. This is definitely 100% my new method for cleaning 45 7-inch records. Using an ultrasonic cleaner for these is such a way better way to clean them. You can really breathe new life into them, and they're not as cumbersome to deal with on the vacuum cleaner that I have found. They clean much faster, you can let them out dry longer, and as you saw, we can get through a lot of them pretty quickly. So I can definitely say that the Knosti Disco Anti-Stat Ultrasonic 2.0 is very convenient and an easy way to clean a lot of those 7 inches, and it's something that I'm going to be using a lot more in the future. I do want to thank Knosti for sending this out to me and letting me review it for you guys. They do have awesome, amazing communication. Every time I had any questions, they were able to get back to me right away, even from Germany to the US. So just know that they do have pretty good customer service. At least that was my experience. And again, just know that the only reason why any of this is possible is because of you guys watching these videos and supporting the channel. I really am eternally grateful for anyone that takes the time to watch any of the videos that I make. Please subscribe to the channel, share them with your friends. If you like this video, you're probably gonna like some others on the channel like these ones here. I'm gonna go listen to some clean pieces of vinyl. I will see you on the next video.